Welcome to part number 5 of Navigating CRM Implementation Pitfalls. In the previous part number 4, we talked about lack of integrations. In this part, we are going to talk about vendor selection and how it's leading to CRM catastrophes. If you'd like to learn more about this research and how we conducted this study, click on the link above to learn more. The first section is alignment with the organizational needs. In general, when you conduct the business, you would like to see that both parties speak the same language. Both parties have almost the same direction and needs. If you have one party, for example, that believes that meetings are supposed to be conducted on time, and the other organization is more of a free spirit and it's okay to be late, to a meeting, that will create some tension. If you have one organization that believes that things need to be planned in a very specific way, and another organization believes that shooting from the hip is okay, there will be a big problem here. Before selecting a vendor, there need to be an organizational alignment. There need to be some kind of a communication between those two organizations to determine if they are a good match one to another. This is something that is on you, not on the vendor. Most vendors, they are hungry for work, and therefore they will be in the sales cycle wherever you want them to be. It's a problem. So it's on you as a customer, it's on you to try to dig in and see if there is an organizational alignment between your company and the designated company. And if not, it needs to break immediately. You cannot start the project because it will not work. For more mature providers, like us, for example, we will qualify clients and we are very much okay not to take clients. If there is no organizational alignment between us and the customer, we are very much okay to say it's not going to work and stop there. So this is a very important point. The next point will be scalability. Whenever you are choosing a vendor, the vendor must understand that your business is scalable. I see endless CRM implementations that are correct to the point in time that they were hired for the job, but they are not correct for the future. And obviously, the idea is that business will evolve, the business will grow. And therefore, whenever you have more employees and more needs, the system will need to be rebuilt, which is extremely painful when you have a CRM that is working. Whenever you have a vendor, you will need to communicate with your vendor that the mindset of creating the system is about growth and scalability. That means that, for example, when leads, as an example, coming in, instead of assigning it to Matthew, because Matthew is right now the salesperson, I will think about the future. Maybe I will create a group named SDRs, and the group SDRs will have Matthew as a salesperson. So in the future, you can add as many salespeople as you like without rebuilding your system. So there need to be a scalability in mind, and it's on you to tell your vendor, because you don't know if your vendor is good enough to think about it by himself. The third point will be about integrations. There are lots of vendors that they don't know really how to create integration with third-party applications. Big problem, especially in 2024. Integrations are crucial part of any business. You will need to get from your prospect vendor list of integrations that they already completed. Those need to be quality integrations. Otherwise, you will work with a vendor that don't know how to do the integrations. They will push it to a third-party company that is outside of the vendor's realm, and then it's not only that you are being held hostage by a vendor, now you're being held hostage by two vendors, and that's a problem. So you need to understand that integrations are key, and you need to make sure that the prospect vendor that you are going to work with will have integrations abilities in-house without outsourcing. The next point will be user-friendliness. If you create a nice system, people will like to use it. If the system is not nice and not friendly, obviously no one will like to use it. Let's assume that a deal came in. I will log the deal in the CRM. I will need to send an agreement to this customer and the proposal, wait for them to come back to me. I will need to check with them daily. Whenever this is done, I will need to send it to bookkeeping, or I will need to produce an invoice myself, and that takes also time and new systems and so on. That's not user-friendly. That's a system that I will probably prefer not to be in from the beginning. From the other side, let's assume that you create a system that when you click on a button, it will ask you for the products. You enter the products, click enter, it will automatically produce a proposal being sent to the customer. When the customer is signing the proposal, it will automatically send an invoice to the customer with the amount with the deposit of this deal. Everything will be done automatically. Me as the user, I love it. It's taking lots of load from my shoulders, and it's easy to work with, and it's fun. That's exactly what it means having a user-friendly system. We see systems that are very complicated, very difficult to work with, and therefore no one wants to work with them. The vendor that you are going to select will need to show you demos of systems that they created, and it's easy to work with them. It's not about you to say, I don't understand CRMs and therefore I don't know if it's good or not. It's exactly the opposite. Because you don't know CRM systems, you need to see something that you actually understand. And if you understand it, it means it's user-friendly. Also, when you're getting demos from vendors, when they're showing you systems, make sure that they're not showing you systems of other clients, because they can't, legally. And I do see many cases that customers or prospects will show me, okay, I got this demo from this vendor, he sent me a recording, see if you can do something like that. And when we see it, we're shocked, because they're showing us their customers. They're showing us their customers' database with all the data of the customer clients. Scary. If they're doing it to try to make a sale, they will do it also to you. So make sure that the vendor that you are selecting showing you in advance what you're going to get on a demo system that they created, not a live system. And if they show you a live system, disengage. Obviously, they have no care to clients' data, security, or privacy, which is a huge problem in our industry. The next part is cost of ownership. When you are buying a CRM system, that will be one part of your expense. Okay, so let's assume that you did your architecture, you received a price, or maybe you're on some kind of a package, but eventually there will be a price of how much you're going to spend in order to produce your CRM system. In addition to that, you need to think about also licenses, and you need to think about maintenance and additions and training. So you need to have in mind also how much all that is going to cost. From all those costs, some of them will be mandatory and some of them will be optional. And you need to determine what is mandatory and optional for your business. The bottom line is you need to understand the costs associated with your CRM system, and based on that, know how to select the right vendor. Most vendors will not give you a real price, and I will explain. When customers coming to vendors, they will provide limited information about what they need. Based on this limited information, the vendor will produce a price, which is okay. It's exactly what the client requested. From the other side, the vendor also knows that what he's pricing is not the final product, because there will be many more revisions based on his experience. And therefore, the amount will be 3 or 4 times more. That's also part of the problem of launching a project without proper architecture, knowing everything that is going to be included. So it's important to talk to the vendor and understand if the price that they offered for the service or the number of hours that they estimated is absolutely final to produce the result and the target, and if based on their experience, more things will need to be done along the way. Just so you will have a clear understanding of cost of ownership, because what we see from prospects, it's not really the case. So make sure that you're asking the right questions so you won't fall into those traps. Data security and privacy these days and every day, very, very important. In the previous point, I talked to you about it. When someone is sharing information about his clients or showing you demo about his client's data, big no. Don't work with those people. Okay. On the other side, some vendors will have ways to protect your data. The CRM will include everything that you own. It's everything, your customers, transactions, financials, everything. This is critical information. This is also why I don't understand how a company will take their most important asset and will give it to a developer from a place that for sure is not a secure and safe place, just to save another few dollars. It doesn't make sense. There need to be, the vendor that you are going to work with need to have proper guidance, proper guidelines, and proper security and privacy policy to protect your data. How their employees are logging into client systems, what kind of security they have in place. Another big problem in this field is that you will connect with a vendor, the vendor will sell you a new CRM, but the vendor is using third-party developers that are not in his control. So even if this vendor is the best in the world and have all the security in place, they will use third-party developers that are not part of their company, and they will be used only as contractors. So they have no control on the security and privacy of the third-party developers. Therefore, you are in risk and you have a big problem. So I would always recommend to use a vendor that is using internal developers and account managers, and everything will be in-house. And I would also like to know what type of security and privacy policies they have in-house to make sure that my data is protected. The next point will be about support and training. Whenever you are going to finish your project, you will need to have some kind of support and training, for sure in the beginning. You need to check with your vendor what type of training programs they have, what type of support program they have, to make sure that you're going to stay with the same vendor and you don't need to jump to a different company and start a new relationship and explain everything that was done to someone new. That needs to be from day one. I always prefer to have customers with all the knowledge. I don't want to see customers as hostages, my hostages. If I am the only one who knows what was done on their system and I'm the only one who knows how to operate their system, they're my hostages. Therefore, I always like to see someone from the organization that works with us. When we are delivering the system, we'll show what was done. We'll provide online courses. We have about 10 of them to our customers, and we'll show them how to work and manage the system. And therefore, they are not having any type of dependencies on us, and the training is there. Also for support, who is going to give us support? Is it the same team, a different team? What's the procedure of receiving support? All that need to be known from day one. The next point will be customization. You want to see that you are working with a vendor that has lots of experience with customization, because the customization will take a system, CRM, and make it yours. The only way that I found to see if a vendor will have the right customization services in place, demo. Show me what you did. And you, as a non-CRM professional, supposed to look at the system and you're supposed to say, yep, I see myself working with this system. It looks awesome. And if you feel probably I'm not smart enough to understand the system, but he's a professional, that means that this is no go. It's not good. You need to see the system and you need almost immediately to understand what's going on and that you're on the right track with the right vendor that can do proper customization for you. The next point will be long-term relationships. In my industry, this is what counts. The person or the company that is going to do your CRM is supposed to be an integral part of your company. They need to understand your business. They need to understand your future growth. They need to understand your problems, and based on that to create a system that will support your business. If you're going to move from one vendor to another all the time, you are not developing this long-term relationship, and therefore you are always going to be stuck between vendors, and also obviously it will affect dramatically your return of investment. You need to have some kind of a company that you feel comfortable growing with. It's like marriage. The woman or man that you are going to marry supposed to be people that you see that you are raising a family with. Same is with the CRM vendor. They supposed to have an interest to help your company grow, and therefore this relationship will work, and you will need to qualify it, obviously. That was the end of part number 5. In the next video, we're going to talk about part number 6, and those will be customization challenges. If you like this session, thumbs up is always appreciated. It will help us promote this video, and Google and YouTube will like us more. If you have anything to say, the comments are the right place to do it. In the description below, there are some information about our company in case that you inquire about us. Thank you very much for watching this session. We'll see you in the next one.